is the essence of renunciation? And when do you know if you're ready for renunciation or sannyasa? Many things come to my mind in order to answer this question in a meaningful way. In reality, renunciation, of course, it can be marked externally, which is one may wear a robe to say, look, I'm a renunciant now, I'm a sannyasi now, so now I can do whatever I want. So earlier, all the restrictions that applied to me don't apply to me anymore. So you can lead a life of great luxury and opulence and laziness and all of the rest. But reality is very different. There was a sadhu, I can't recall his name, and he was traveling by train. It was a long journey. And a couple of guys, 3-4 guys, collegiates, they were also in the same, that whatever that is called. And they saw that at every station when the train would stop, some devotee or the other would come rushing in, usually a group, would bring nice things for the Maharaji. This is for you, this is paneer, this is good chapati, roti, and so on. And you please eat and enjoy fresh tea, hot and whatever. So the youngsters thought, this is a great lifestyle. It's wonderful. Here we are eating jeera aloo and with chapati made by Indian Railway Corporation, whatever it's called. And here there's Swamiji and getting all these amazing delicacies. At every station, the other guys come, take over the old utensils and dishes and fresh one every time. This is great. He said, Maharaj ji, aapki to mauj hai. He said, this is great, this is wonderful. He said, well, if you think this is great, why don't you come with me and renounce? Why don't you renounce and become a sannyasi as well? And they said, no, that's not what we want to live in the world. We want to have fun, we want to have blast, we want to have family and so on. So ultimately, renunciation is the path of exactly what it says, renunciation, that we forego many things that the world craves for. That's essentially in a nutshell. Sannyasaso kabhav, tatmechami veditum, tyagasya rishikesha, tatmechami veditum. What is sannyasa? Arjuna says to Krishna, what is renunciation? Is it the same as just giving up something? Or is it something else? Krishna says, look, I'll tell you in a nutshell. Because some people say that, okay, you give up your selfish karma and that is sannyasa. But some people say, no, don't give up any karma. Some people say, oh, give up only fire offerings or the rituals. What is it? Na dveshtya kushlam karmna kushle nanusha sajjate tyagi satta samavishto medhavi chinna sanchay. I will tell you what sannyasa is, Krishna says. When you are at ease with life. When you realize life cannot be full of what you want to do. It is always a balance between things you have to do and things you want to do. And when you're at ease with either, when you choose to embrace life and not give up life. If somebody thinks renunciation is the path of escape, they could not be more mistaken. Somebody who was not at ease with things in the world, or so-called material world, they will not be at ease in renunciation either. I recently read this very beautiful story, real life story of this person called John O'Leary. When John was barely 9 years old, he caught fire. He was playing with gasoline and suddenly his whole body was on fire. 87% of his body had third-degree burns. and there was no hope of his surviving. So when he was rushed to the hospital, his mother saw the dire state her son was in, and in that moment, she said, I love you, son, but let me ask you, do you want to die? Your choice, not mine. He said, no, Mama, I want to live, I don't want to die. She said, then you fight like you've never fought before. If you want to live, then you fight like you've never done before. And he continued to live. After 5 years of treatments, every single of his fingers was amputated. But he became very successful and addresses, and his motivational speaker wrote a book called Soul on Fire. So when somebody thinks renunciation is that I am going to give up everything, and I'm going to sit by the riverside, and I won't have anything to do with the world, and I will just chant the holy names, it's true, but only for about 24 hours. After that, the reality will set in. Nobody becomes a monk, or most people don't, thinking, oh, I'm really going to socialize hard and impress a lot of people. There are such people there, I'm not denying. But most don't. But when you actually are out there, when then nature blesses you with abundance on all fronts, then it is also going to take the work from you. It's very simple. So renunciation is committing to a certain kind of a life more than anything else. Vivekananda used to say, when sometimes his Guru Bhais, his other monks and so on, would say, look, we really wonder sometimes if we made the right decision. But it doesn't matter whether you are married, unmarried, bachelor, single, divorced, separated, never married, you are a brahmachari, or you're a renunciant, or anybody. You will cry every day, more or less. Life will give you plenty of fodder to feel bad about. And it's your choice, not mine then. It's your choice how you wish to take it on. So Vivekananda said to his monks that, look, when you get such thoughts, don't worry, even I have them. Even I had them, he said. And I have them still. Don't worry, but that just because a thought came, should I not, is not the reason to give up on something. Kammenam karanam nyasam sannyasam kavyavidu sarvakarma phalatyaga prahustyaga vichakshana. When you are able to look out for others more than you look out for yourself, in a nutshell. And sometimes, so many people come and ask me for sannyasa. Some have not really even understood what it means. For them, it's almost like a milestone or a destination. They think, oh, just give me sannyasa and be done with it. And they get upset with me when I say I can't do that at this moment. But I am only saying that because I care about them. Otherwise, think about it. How hard is it for me to say, okay, here's a set of robes, please from this day on you wear these. But how unfair I would be to them knowing that they still have desire in their heart. I would be clipping all of that and asking them to lead their lives a certain way when every ounce of their subconscious mind wants to live another way. When they still crave for attention, when they still want recognition, when they still want their own standing. There's a beautiful story, I've narrated it in the past as well, when Mardana, who spent his entire life serving Guru Nanak Dev Ji, when he was about to die. And Mardana was a Muslim. And for his happiness and joy, Guru Nanak Dev did so many things during the course of his own life. So he asked Mardana, he said, Mardana, look, I know you're a Muslim. So I just want to know, how would you like to be cremated? When you die, would you like a burial? Or would you like a cremation? Or would you like? And Mardana chuckled and he cried. And he held on to Guru Nanak's feet. He said, Guru Sahib, what kind of cruel joke is this? I served you while this body was breathing. You were the only one, you were the only thing that ever mattered to me. And I know in seva, in serving you, I fell short greatly, but I hope you felt what I felt for you all my life. When I could not care what happened to this body while I was alive, why do you ask me what to do with it when I won't be there? This body, this soul, this mind is all yours, always was, Guru Sahib. You do what you deem is right. You leave it in the woods, you put it on a tree, you burn it, you bury it, you immerse it in the river. I couldn't care less. The only thing I ask of you is that please, even in my next life, I only want to be serving you. I could not care about anything else. I could not care less about anything else. So there is two kinds of renunciation, more or less. One kind of renunciation is you want to serve with all your might. And when you want to serve with all your might, then whether you wear robes or you don't wear robes is somewhat immaterial. If anything, robes is sometimes a hindrance to serving people. There's a certain expectation that comes if you are wearing a robe. The other is you just want to be associated and you want to live the lifestyle of a monk. And it's not easy. Nothing is. Householders' life's not easy. But easy and hard is relative. So when you feel that you are certain you don't wish to have a family of your own, but you inherit a much bigger family, spiritual family, when you are certain that the way of the world is not for you, then one could consider renunciation. And like I said, it's a staged process. It's not that the moment somebody is given robes that immediately they feel a great transformation. It happens, but usually lasts about 24 hours, like I said, or a week or so. That they will say, okay, now I am totally disenchanted with the world. So it's on a case-by-case basis. And if somebody doesn't care about serving, they probably shouldn't take on or take up or wear robes. They could still be a sannyasi. They could still be a renunciant. And King Janak is a great example. He was one of the greatest sannyasis out there, but ran a kingdom, governed a kingdom, looked after his subjects, and did everything right, and led an exemplary life. And then, of course, you have those. I narrated this story long time back. There was a man. He was at a job, and during a certain season, when a lot of people visit Kailasha, he said, "Let me also go there. I've heard a lot of devotees and people come, so maybe I could make some money there. And he saw that all those gurus or people pretending to be gurus or sannyasis were actually better off there. They were making more money than the porters and everybody else. He said, I don't have to work hard like this. I could just wear a robe and pretend to be a guru. And he stole a robe from another sannyasi, and he went to the Kailasha, and he sat there. And he started pretending he's feeding the swans, and he's putting something and the swans are coming. And he was mind blown, because until that moment, swans would never come to him. But today, all those swans came. And when they came, he thought to himself, unbelievable. I am not even a pure person. I am not even a sannyasi. At the mere sighting of a robe, I'm attracting all these swans. Imagine if I actually was a real sannyasi in these robes, what a miracle would that be? And for some people, there comes a moment where it's absolutely irresistible because of their past lives and karma. It's almost like you don't choose your parents, you don't choose sannyasa. It's beyond you. It just happens. You say, I cannot imagine any other life. I forget that name of that saint. Was it Saint Genesis or Saint Assisi? I cannot recall. But at one point in time, he was a clown in the royal court. He was jester, and he would be making all these jokes and mimicry and so on. And part of his act would always be to make fun of Jesus Christ. And as part of that, he would set up a vat and he would mock the very act of baptism. One day, it so happened that while performing that act, he slipped and he accidentally fell into the vat. When that happened, he came out and he could never be a clown again. He renounced everything. He became a saint, and he spent his life in prayer, repentance, and practicing forgiveness. That one singular moment changed everything in him. And suddenly he realized the life he was leading was a life of lies. He was trying to please people for what? Whereas greater truth, more powerful truth was waiting for him. So there comes a moment in life when you realize the futility of this material existence, when you realize that how inadequate things or people or pleasures can be. And then your mind goes in search of the real truth. You want more stability of the soul. You want something a bit more permanent. Something that resonates with your consciousness and conscience. And something that reverberates through your whole being, raising your consciousness to another level. When you sort of almost develop this thing, I don't want to use the word, you find the world loathsome. You say, this is not for me. And I'll sum it up by saying one more thing. Before I took sannyasa, I always asked myself this question, whatever life I was leading, can I live without this? Can I live without this? Can I live without this? If the answer was yes, then I said, okay, I'm happy to do. And but what course life takes, only life. Even life doesn't know, for that matter. It just unfolds, it just unravels. My guru had different plans for me. Divine Mother had somewhat different plans for me, that even though They said you could sit in a remotest corner. Um, you will have to mingle with the world. My view of monkhood was very different. It was this: I'll just be on my own and I'll do my thing, and that'll be that. But I did, as part of my vision, had this vision that we would be all doing. When I saw this place before I bought it, I had this vision that one day I'll be doing kirtan, and people are doing kirtan with me. And I did that for the first few years, as much as I wanted and as much as people could take. So that's my answer. Maybe I'll take one last question.